All right, good to see you. Oh, this is re-recorded because my coach comes at the same time going live at 11:11 Central. And so we use the technology so that you can. This is how entrepreneurs work. And today I'm talking about making choices. As an entrepreneur, there's so many choices that you have to make every day. And this is one of these weeks for me, really intense. It's so full of stress. And when you have brain damage, you have to get rid of all the stress in your life so that you don't have symptoms and your body will start turning off. So for me, it's super important to get rid of stress. And I love it when this woo-woo stuff and the psychology are aligned, right? So one of my clients, she is a powerful medium and she taught me about connecting into my subconscious. So my words are different than hers. She's a medium. I'm connected to my subconscious. I micro read people. So people believe that I'm reading their minds, and that's not what I'm doing. There's the history of what I've learned studying people, and then watching how people are reacting when I do things. So it's super interesting when we have this woo woo things of do this or that, and then there's psychology behind it proving that that woo woo stuff makes sense. So, one of the things that I'm thinking about, there's a study where they were studying people, they had three piles of questions. And people would ask people these questions from each pile. And one of those questions was simple. One of them you gave extra points, and one of them was super hard. And what was interesting when they read their bodies knew 75% faster than knowing. So it took them longer to figure out which one of the piles gave them the most points, which one was easy, one was hard, but their body knew so faster. So it's really interesting when you learn to our body because there's our brain has two different parts of it, right? There's the part of our brain that pays attention to everything. It remembers everything it sees, hears everything. And then that's so much going on, we can't pay attention to all that. So our brain lets you see a small percent of what's going on. So the part that sees everything, that's your subconscious. Your knowing brain is not so smart because it's just filter the subconscious um, filters what you can see. And often we get this idea of like, oh, that's logical. That seems like a good idea. But then our body is like, no, that's a bad idea. Yes, it's logical, but from all the other information, it's a bad idea. So if you can find a way to connect to our body and do it. Now, the other thing that I've learned about running a business is sitting trying to make the perfect choice because I always wanted to be this perfect person. I wanted the perfect wife, a perfect mom. I wanted to be perfect and I would work so freaking hard to be good at those things. And then what often happens, spending so much time making the perfect choice, the thing that happens is that it wastes so much of your time to actually moving. So if you get to the point where you just make a choice, it's actually better to make a choice than getting the right one. Because when you make a choice, you either get the results that you wanted or the lesson you want. So making a choice is the best one. So for me this week, it's so intense. There's so many things going on for me. Like, and I know I have to get rid of stress. And I know, okay, what's the worst can happen? No one's going to die. So, no problem. And then I go forward. So, I'm looking at this big list of stuff and making choice is the best thing to move our money, our body, your business to move forward. So when you don't know the choice, I have a whole bunch of tools to figure out to listen to our body to get those answers. And if you would like some questions or ideas of ways to make choices, I'd be happy to share and make some content with that. I'm going to share one of them that's a little bit, this is one that I'm going to use this week because there's a huge list of things. So what I'm doing on a little tiny piece of paper, I'm writing down everything that needs to be done. Writing it down. I'm writing them all down on the table and looking at all the things. And then once I've made sure that I've written everything that needs to be done in the next week, and it's a ridiculous amount of stuff, and then I put it in the a cup, and then I pick one up, and then I go, and what happens is you listen to your body and you're like, okay. So the first thing I do is I tell myself, I'm like, okay, this is the universe is setting it up that this is the most important thing that I need to do. This is what we're going to do. So I tell my brain, this is going to have the best choices, right? And then when I come up and you're like, oh, often the first thing comes, you're like, yes, that's exactly what I need to do. Or what will happen? So I just did it twice. I got podcast twice, and my brain is like, podcast? I don't need a podcast. That's not important. I have way important things to do than this. But when you tell yourself what to do, and you can know, okay, this is not something I need to do today. And by asking myself, saying no, and so I put that another cup of like, okay, that's something I will do next week. That's my next week cup. And then I take it out. Plan a week plan. All right, that is something you need to do this week. I need to plan everything. So I put this in, and then each one of these things that I'll pull up, then I don't need to, you don't need to choose everything on your list, and you're going to listen to your body. So I listen my body of like, yes, no. Is that next week cup? Is that 2 weeks cup? And it helps to organize and put things down of like, this is today, this is tomorrow. So you can do it and plan the whole week. And each one that you come up, you can put it on the calendar. So you could print a week a week. Yeah, this is a lot of information too. This is something that I would take you down in the group, all the information of different ways of doing. So it's one thing of like, oh, put it in a cup and pull it out, and then that's what you do. There's a whole more steps that can go to make it more capable of doing it. And we have apps and tips and all kinds of things to do it as well for you. All right, so I want to remind you, if you woke up today, we need you exactly like you. Nobody else. You can level up, you can get better. I highly recommend to be a better person, and send you good vibes. And in your comments below, let me know what I can do to support you. I'm a designer, I'm marketing, sales, I'm a mom. I was married for 20 years. I have a 15-year-old, well running your business and moving my business into 6 cities. And the thing that helped me the most was the marketing and clear communication. And so the one that has damaged communication is now teaching you how to do it. So I'll leave your comments below, and I look forward